Oh man, Brock, we need help. Doctors, trainers, we need help. And that, folks, is the fucking take they went with. That's the best they could get out of Alex Marvez. Most uninteresting, uncharismatic, and unhuman-like individual to exist on any wrestling program. Mark Lawrence from World Class Championship Wrestling actually had more charisma because at least he had a nice announcer's voice. At least he sort of could have some inflections, even if he just seemed like he was just standing there most of the time and just very matter of fact. Sable, David Sammartino, Eric Watt. You could take any second generation or any terrible actor, terrible character on any wrestling program ever, any mainstream wrestling program, and you could have them on their worst day. You could have them in a goddamn coma, and they still would have better verbal abilities, better charisma, and just seem a little bit more human-like than Alex Marvez. Goddamn, Helen Keller was a better goddamn public speaker than Alex Marvez. Why is Alex Marvez on this program still? He wasn't interesting to begin with. He's continuously sucked the charisma in, off, and around every goddamn person he's just sent to the goddamn sky, and just the levels of uninterestingness that leak off of this goddamn guy. Why is he still there? Why? Just goddamn why? That's the best they could get out of this guy. That made a cable broadcast. God damn it. Anyway, I'm John Recton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Colorado Springs, Colorado. The capacity for the venue apparently was around 7,300, and judging by some things that I was sent as far as pictures and people that were there, 3,000 people, maybe. Now, there were points where the crowd was pretty goddamn hot, but they are in trouble. They're really in trouble. I'm not saying that I expected them to get more than maybe 5,000 people, but in a 7,300 seat venue, even with the obstructed seats taken away, you couldn't draw. They are really in trouble. Their television hasn't been the hottest. Stuff does at least happen, but I have to start wondering if they're just going to be stretching themselves too thin with the upcoming Collision, show and everything. That being said, there were a few things I liked on this show, but good goddamn Christ, Dynamite has just hit a wall. They have just hit a goddamn wall, and they keep running into it, like they're Dale Earnhardt Sr. Anyway, so it felt hollow. The crowd reactions, even though they were up at times, and the people that were there made as much noise as they could, good lord. So Swerve with Prince Prince hey, who really is doing the best he can to be animated and try to add something to this. Swerve took on Orange Cassidy for the AEW International Heavyweight 7 Seas Championship, and okay, I liked Swerve. Met Swerve, incredible talent. He wrestles just as hard in front of 200 people, 500 people, 18,000. It doesn't goddamn matter. He's an incredible athlete. A great representation of Washington State professional wrestling. Such a goddamn star. And they've spun their wheels with him. He still is very good in the ring, motivated, and he's working with, I'm sorry, people like Orange Cassidy, that's fine. You can like him all you goddamn want. I don't. I will never like Orange Cassidy. He is not a wrestler. I will never cheer for him. I don't wish anything bad to happen to him. I've heard that he's a very nice guy, and that's good. I don't think that, since I haven't heard anything bad about him, I have no reason to knock the guy. But this was 23 goddamn minutes, and Swerve didn't win. Nobody benefits from working with Orange Cassidy because they have to work with the same goddamn shtick he's been doing for 4 years. I hated him in the Double or Nothing 2019 Battle Royal, and I still hate him. I still can't fucking stand watching Orange Cassidy because it's not wrestling. Swerve lost to a roll-up. I mean, he tried to pull the tights, and then Cassidy reversed and pulled the tights. And he kicked out of everything before that. Trash. And then, Khan and Toa Leona and Cage and everybody, and I think popcorn vendors attacked Orange Cassidy, and suddenly blackout for a while. And here's Sting and Darby. This is how they're going to use Sting in the last few months of his career. There were 2 kids dressed up as Orange Cassidy fans. I hope those kids had a great goddamn time. There are also kids that like to eat paste and are allowed outside of their house without adult supervision, but nevertheless. So yeah, that didn't really, set the tone for a great show. But you know what? Something hit me because of this being in Colorado, and It's wrestling related. Lauren Boebert. Yeah, this goddamn frickin' tramp that's a gun-toting nut and everything and belongs basically on any goddamn street corner like her mother apparently was, because she decided to pursue, paternity test, legal action stuff, however you want to say it, against Stan Lane. Sweet Stan Lane, who proved that he wasn't the father to Lauren Boebert. But the mother apparently just wanted to continue to do this because the mother apparently is right-wing and stupid as Lauren is. And now Lauren Boebert found out again that she is not the daughter of Stan Lane. She doesn't know who her father is. And you know what? Good. I'm fucking glad this goddamn trash heap, this tramp, and that's what she is, this soulless, mindless, brain parasite possessing piece of shit, this stupid bitch, thinks that, it's like, this wrestler's my father. Maybe I can find out who my father is. And no, he's not the father. And the mother lied and everything because that family's full of liars. And now, you know what? Given the fact that Lauren Boebert is so soulless and so callous, and the fact that she won't want to protect kids, and she's so goddamn gun crazy and whatever. And it's not about gun ownership. It's about being gun crazy. It's about being stupid like she is. She's a goddamn election denier, COVID denier, all that shit. I'm just going to say this. I hope she never finds out who her dad is. I hope it eats at her. I hope it eats at her mind, body, and soul. It just eats at her knowing that her dad didn't even want to give her the time of day to say, yeah, I'm your father. I don't want anything to do with you. He just cast her off and doesn't even want anything to do with her at all. He didn't even give her the time of day on that, so I hope it eats at her. But she never finds out who her dad is because she deserves that. And if you agree with Lauren Boebert's views, you don't deserve to have family that loves you or friends that love you, because none of you should goddamn matter. Because if you're going to think like she does, you're just as soulless, just as callous, and you're just as rotten down to your very core as Lauren Boebert is. And I really, really hope that Lauren Boebert continues to just know that her dad didn't even love her enough, didn't even respect her enough. She is not worthy of ever being loved by anybody. And anything bad that happens to her, you fucking asked for it, just stupid tramp. Go back onto the stripper pole that you belong, and maybe, just maybe, you might actually get a bunch of goddamn morons to believe in you. Because you sure aren't qualified to be in Congress. You sure aren't smart enough to actually be able to pass any laws that actually could benefit anybody. You don't know who your dad is, and ha ha ha, you'll never find out. And it makes me laugh that people like her can cry about it, because they deserve to not have anybody love them ever. So yeah, there we go. Let's get back to the review and everything, provided I've run off every single goddamn crackpot that still is here. Each one of you motherfuckers doesn't deserve happiness. Let's get back to the review. Jay White pre-tape about Ricky Starks. Type up the main event, and Danielson's on commentary. But first, a video on Okada and Danielson for Forbidden Door. That sold me on Forbidden Door. Omega and Ospreay also is part of Forbidden Door. That's good. That's going to be good. And Collision ad. Punk is back. I hope that he can stay healthy. That much I'll say. Wild Thing, you make Colorado sing. So it's Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler against the best friends, Trent, Taylor, and Rocky Romero, who actually is talented, and poor Rocky. That's all I'm going to say. Danielson puts over the BCC Strong, a jump start by the faces, I guess. And referee Aubrey is back. No Karen Jarrett stuff. I think they're going to save that for Rampage, and oh boy, Karen Jarrett in a professional wrestling ring in general. The sky is falling. So anyway, you got to give the people what they want. Could you give me a better duo to team with Rocky Romero? So anyway, this was just moves. It was just stuff happening, and eventually Rocky tapped out to Mox while Taylor kept getting elbowed, in quotations, by Wheeler. And then there you go. That's really all I got to say about that. By the way, the Bucks and Hangman are on camera, and then they say, hey, Washington, D.C. is a location for Dynamite next week, where Dynamite started. How about we have a 3-on-3 match, if you can leave all your cronies in the back? And they're calling them the Hung Bucks. I thought that was a slip of the tongue by Excalibur at first. I was like, what are you trying to tell us? But anyway, package on Omega and Ospreay. And then MJF comes out to boost. This was this is pretty much actually the only goddamn highlight of the show. It's not even that anything after this show or after this was particularly bad. I just thought this was the highlight. MJF does come out and said, "Oh, you smoked your brain cells, gone." Calls them drug addicts. He does say at one point, he uses the line again, "Oh, Colorado, your mom." It's like, "You suck, oh, your mom swallows." Yeah, he said that before and it worked. Going to that well one too many times. Calls Colorado boring. I've never been, so I don't know how boring Colorado is. And there's no competition, but then it's all about the boom, Adam Cole, baby. And the crowd's up for him, and then MJF cuts off the Adam Cole, baby. Cuts that off, so that gets a lot of boos. And then MJF just reads him the riot act. I'm not going to go over every single piece of dialogue that he said. You guys really should check this out, though. Great verbal exchanges, especially when Cole fired back. Now, was it a little too on the nose, a little too insider? Sure, but that tends to be what AEW does. MJF says, "I'm excited. I'm a big fan. And I knocked ROH wasn't for me. I thought it sucked, and I knocked the roster. But then you came on, and I was like, okay, you are somebody I could look up to." And he did call him a free agent. Is what it is. Slip-ups happen. And then he says, "Oh, your time in WWE, Shawn Michaels picked you, all that. Your time, the great things you did, that's undisputed." And now, you were the Panama Playboy. Now you're the Panama Game Boy. You're on Twitch like all these other nerds. And that Britt leaves the house with your balls in her purse. And he knocks the frailty. "You're so frail, you give crack hewers, or you make crack hewers jealous." I'm trying to really dance around some things here. And they make you cool by giving you a reality show, The Girl, and all that pomp and circumstance of the theme. To make me cool, they just ring the effing bell. And I kind of see why Vince didn't see anything in you. I'm a big fan of Vince McMahon, by the way, and I'm just going to say Vince was right. And then Cole fires back. "You mentioned everybody's girlfriends or wives or everything, and we know it's because your fiance left you and you can't hold a relationship to save your life." That looked like it got MJF. Now, I mean, yeah, the acting and all that stuff and everything, but it looked like it got him. And you talk about my physique and everything. Well, how about we go piss in a cup and see who's natural or not? Implying that MJF is juicing. I don't know if I'd say he's juicing. I think he just probably did, I mean, if he is, he wouldn't be the only person. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but it was a good line by Cole. And how no one respects MJF, and they do more jabs back and forth, and that "you won't face me because you're a coward." The coward chants start. And they know it's because, and I'm burying you, and they know it. MJF then agrees to face Adam Cole, and there we go. Good. And we're going to get an eliminator match next week. And then we have the Hardys and Ethan, and we get this stuff. That Matt Hardy wants to make Ethan a better person. Why is this on a wrestling program? Just why? Just why? We go from a serious segment with the "F you too many jabs" is what it is, you too many insider things, MJF may leave, he may not, to this comedy stuff. Speaking of bad comedy, we get Jungle Hook. Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, and Hook. It's the best you're going to get out of me. They have made Hook meaningless to me. And I think Hook is not going to learn anything proper working in matches like this at all. Preston Vance and Dralistico were the opponents, with Jose the assistant. It was a Texas Tornado match, meaning no tags. But, oh, wait, it's no DQ. Let's just allow weapons. And instantly there is referee Rick Knox, by the way, so they could have just enforced tags, and he wouldn't have enforced them anyway because he's terrible at what he does. There's an extension cord already in the goddamn ring. Hook and Preston battle into the crowd. We get a chain punch, and Preston cut way too deep, and he was trying to keep all the blood in his head, but he was not successful. He cut too deep, trying to keep. Okay, nevertheless. Then we get a table crash, and we get Jose getting involved, and then Hook gets back up and locks the red rum on him. Andrew Listigo taps out to the snare trap, and this was terrible. This was terrible. There were people that liked it in the crowd, and that's fine. I hope that Preston's all right, because Preston may not be ready for the role that they're giving him, but I really hope that he's all right, because that looked very bad. He got way too deep on that. And if it was a hard way, then it was really too deep. So anyway, Tony Khan with an announcement. No, thanks, guys. He says, Collision main event's going to be Punk and FTR against Samoa Joe, Jay White, and Juice Robinson. Okay. That's a way to hook people. It's a good way to use Punk also, reintroduce him and maybe keep his reps limited and use him in singles matches for big-time television or pay-per-views. And then I don't know how high he was. I was really kind of worried there. And so we then get Takeshita with Don Callis against some tall enhancement talent guy. I don't know what his name was. They mentioned it once, but it was so quick I didn't get a chance to jot it down. Callis trying to get in the fight with fans. Callis couldn't win a fight against a corpse. If it was a woman, he'd probably try to feel that up too. Takeshita wins, and they kept playing the video of the beatdown that Takeshita and Callis gave Omega, and then they cut a promo, and Omega's like, or not Omega, but Callis is talking like, Omega, he took everything from me. I'm going to take everything from him. The Elite are cancer. We're going to cut them out. We're going to beat them up. And Takeshita says some stuff in Japanese. He says Omega and then says other stuff in Japanese. I hope that Takeshita can rise and make this work. But Callis, I'm sorry, he's too goofy. He's too goofy and I can never take him seriously. Marvez is then with Christian, and Christian wants another title shot. And Luchasaurus had beaten up Brock Anderson. And that's where Marvez had all the ability and verbal ability of Helen Keller trying to talk on Somas. And Alex Marvez should not be allowed in a wrestling program ever again. Statlander took on Anna Jay with Matt Menard for the TBS Championship. And scintillating camera work during this, I have to say. Anna Jay looks good. Anna Jay is trying, but it has been about 3 years that she has been part of this company. Now, I know she didn't have that many matches to her name, and a lot of that took place during the pandemic, and she's had injuries. She recovered from that rib injury, and I'm happy she's all right. I don't know if she's cut out to have long matches like this. The stalling and the heel stuff was fine. Statlander probably should have won in half the time she did. There was terrible interference spots because Menard is not very good at this. And the Tombstone, 1, 2, 3. So there you go. Rampage, by the way, it doesn't look that good. We're getting 2 6-man tags. We're getting a 4-way between Sky Blue, Britt Baker, Mercedes, and Nyla. And the winner faces Toni Storm. Then we got to Tony and Ruby cutting a promo. And honestly, if they just keep Saraya out of this goddamn thing, they have something. They really do. They really do have something. It might actually work if it's just them, but Saraya drags it all down. Dynamite next week. It's the Mogul Embassy, Swerve and his people against Darby, Sting, Keith Lee, and Orange Cassidy. So once again, this is how they're using Sting in the last few months of his career. Cole versus MJF, an eliminator match. Ricky Starks versus Jay White. Juice and FTR are banned from ringside. Look, this was a jump start. Again, another jump start. At least they put some effort into trying to build this feud. The problem is I've always found Jay White boring. And there was a point where they went out to the stage. The ref could have counted to 100. He probably could have counted to 1,000. Like, referees showing some leeway. There's leeway, and then there's just flat out ignoring the rules. But it was what it was. There were moves. A tornado DDT. Jay took over. They did a few things. Then, the Rochambeau, but Jay inadvertently kicks the referee. The referee's down. The Guns interfere, hit their finish on Starks, and Blade Runner 1, 2, 3. Juice comes down to celebrate, and there you are. Starks will probably try to interfere in the Collision main event, and that'll cause Juice or Jay to take the pin, probably Juice. That was Dynamite. There are good things on each show, but they really got to work hard at trying to put a more cohesive show together, because a lot of it's just a mess. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rentlin. I'll see you soon.